Do our animals share a secret with communicators or share with communicators something where they say that they don't want this to be conveyed to the human? Hi, my name is Akshaya. I'm a nature and animal communicator, which means I can speak to plants, animals, and other species and have two-way conversations with them. Recently, I have been asked this question a lot, where communicators have asked me if animals can share things and say, I don't want this to be told to the human. In my limited experience of 10 years that I have been practicing as a communicator and professionally doing it for the past 7-8 years, I have noticed that the animals would never share something that could potentially harm the human or that could potentially put the human at risk, nor do they generally share anything that they don't want us to convey to the human. And in my understanding, this is simply because the whole point of them talking to us with the explicit permission from the human is to focus on the things that the human wishes to focus on. So, for example, if someone asks you to talk to me about something, I would tell you things that you are asking me about, and I would not randomly bring up something and say, oh, don't tell the other person about it. Now, these animals we speak to have a very deep relationship with their humans. They are extremely close to them, irrespective of how they are living and what their relationship is. They have a sense of loyalty towards their humans. So when we as a communicator, as a third person, is speaking with them with the due permission of the human, it is highly unlikely that the animal is going to share something with us and say, don't share it with the human. In case you find yourself getting into such situations, I would highly recommend you to ground yourself, understand your energy, what you're looking for from the animal, and then go back to the animal and understand what they are trying to tell us. Most importantly, we should only communicate with animals, especially companion animals, with explicit permission from their human. It does not matter what the situation is. As a communicator, we should not really speak to an animal unless the human has asked us, and this is a strict boundary that we should all follow. If you have the explicit permission from the human, there is no reason for the animal to tell us not to tell the human anything, and if we don't have, it is not in our right to communicate with the animal. Now, this topic also brings up questions about abuse or when it comes to rescuing and animal welfare, and my simple answer to it is that there are other avenues to help the animal. If we see abuse, if we see cruelty, we have to reach out to the appropriate people to help them. Communication in this case would not be ethical, because here again we don't have the explicit permission of the human, and may not really be very helpful, because for example, and this is just a random example, even if the animal says that they're okay with the abuse, that's not going to make it okay. So if that is the kind of answers we receive, we still have to go and help the animal in the way that we should be helping. So it's up to our discretion as to how we look at these issues. So when it comes to communication, please be ethical. Please make sure that you are seeking permission from the human and then talking to the animal, because the human is asking for the help. And if you come up with such dilemmas where the animal has shared something and said don't tell the human about it, I would definitely request you to check with your energy, see how you're feeling about it, and then going back to the animal to clarifying the situation. I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. If you have other comments about how you deal with certain situations that may be a little awkward, please mention it in the comment section below. Until the next video, bye-bye.